Hello and welcome to the Road to Recovery, Rhode Island Food and Drink. I'm Dave Dadekian with Eat Drink Rhode Island, and with me on the panel today are three great businesses focusing on distilling and brewing. We've got Alicia and Carlo Catucci of White Dog Distilling in Pawtucket, Rhode Island, Jeremy Duffy of the Guild, also in Pawtucket, Rhode Island, and soon to be in Warren, Rhode Island, and Morgan Snyder of Buttonwoods Brewery. Welcome, everyone. Thank you very much for being here with me today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So why don't we start by having each of you tell us a bit about your business and what you do. Why don't we kick it off with Alicia and Carlo there?
So we're a micro distillery. We, from raw materials, we distill rum, whiskey, bourbon, moonshine, and we make limoncello. So we we do that in Pawtucket, and we've been open for a little over 2 years. And you can only get our product in our tasting room.
We operate out of a 50-gallon still, so currently products are only available out at the tasting room.
Great, thank you. Jeremy.
Hello.
Welcome.
So, welcome. Thank you. Thank you for having me. Jeremy Duffy from the Guild in Pawtucket, Rhode Island. Started about 3.5 years ago. Started brewing manufacturing in March of 2017. Our primary business model is brewing manufacturing, a little bit different. We kind of consider ourselves a partnership brewery, which means we produce for other breweries. We have about 8 partners, mainly from the East Coast. But then also we've started doing our own beer off of our pilot system. We have a 10-barrel pilot system, and we opened up a beer hall and a beer garden, a special events area, and it's going great. So that's what we're doing.
And Morgan?
We're Buttonwoods Brewery. My name is Morgan Snyder. We operate a 3.5-barrel brewery located in Cranston, Rhode Island, right off of 95. We kind of focus most of our production on making well-hopped IPAs, unique and interesting barrel-aged beers, and classic style lagers. So we kind of run the gamut as far as styles and try to be as creative and fun as possible while appealing to a broad audience. Yeah.
Great, thank you. So relatively young businesses, certainly well established at this point here in Rhode Island, well known, but always room for growth here. And then this pandemic hits us. Obviously everyone is struggling a bit. What have you had to do? How has it been for the last 7 months? What are you all feeling right now? Why don't we'll stick with the order we're in? Alicia and Carlo, what do you think?
I definitely think some words that come to mind are, stress and frustration. There's a lot of challenges, and we're always just trying to figure things out as best we can. We had one business model and it was working well, and then all of a sudden it's like, we had to slam the brakes and just try to figure so many other things out and get so many other things going that just weren't in our wheelhouse. So that's been stressful.
Right. Yeah. Jerry, how's the Guild been doing? I know, you built that beautiful event space, and all the growth you've had there. What's it feeling like for you?
Yeah, I think it's really been a tale of two businesses. We're diversified, which has really sort of helped. Our main business will always be sort of brewing manufacturing, and that is just not stopped. There's been business problems with it, as in the sense of that the beer and restaurant, the keg business completely went away, and the pressure on canning has been enormous, and there's a global aluminum issue. So there's been problems there, but we've been able to keep all our staff working all the way through, and we're really kind of thankful for that. From the retail side, from the beer hall and the events and all of that, I felt that we were really just hitting our stride in the first quarter, and in January and February we turned really non-drinking months. We were averaging about 1,600 people a week, and everything was great, and then we just completely got hit in the face. And that included our events. We probably had to cancel between 40 and 50 events, a lot of weddings. So that really was difficult. But at the same time, as soon as the governor was saying that we could open up a little bit, we did so. Thankfully we had a pretty large outdoor area in our beer garden, and we were able to separate tables and really kind of keep people safe. And we've been slowly but surely building up this again, but trying to do everything right by the guidelines and that. So we're happy. Everyone's, all the teams come back again, and we're just kind of trudging through this the best we can.
Right. And Morgan, how are things in Cranston?
Cranston's been I'm going to echo a lot of the sentiments. It's been very stressful past couple months. Fortunately for us, we're a lot smaller than Jeremy is, so we're able to pivot rather quickly. Before the pandemic happened, I would say we're in the same boat as Jeremy. We're really hitting our stride. People were really starting to take notice to some of the things that we're doing, and it really felt like we were kind of coming into our own as a brewery. And then the pandemic hit, and my first thought was, we're not going to be making any beer. We're going to have to transition everything into cans. And, again, because our small size, that agility was so much easier to do. And people were looking for somewhere that, we know that the liquor stores saw a dramatic increase, and we were able to see a little bit of that as well. It kind of petered out once the warmer months kind of came in and bars and restaurants started opening up. But it really kind of pushed us more towards a much more creative outlet, trying to focus a lot more in on our marketing and figure out who we are as a business and what people enjoy about who we are and what we make. And so I think that part, that internal look, really helped us as a business grow and maintain. Not to say that it's been easy. The aluminum shortage is becoming very, very real right now. We just spoke to our suppliers, and we have probably just enough cans to make it through each month allocated to us from them. So we need to kind of play smart going forward. And if we see another shutdown, that's going to really impact our production and our ability to continue at the speed that we're going. So it's been interesting, and a lot of creativity has gone into the past few months. And we're hoping to maintain that too.
Sure. Yeah, no, that has certainly been the case. Supply chain was interesting. I had Yacht Club, Black Leaf Tea, and Wright's Dairy last week speaking with us, and supply chain was involved all of them as well. So the aluminum shortage is definitely something to consider. Alicia and Carlo, you obviously glass bottles. Is there supply chain issues for you as well, or?
Well, actually, I saw it in the aluminum caps that we cover.
Oh.
Yeah, so our usual supplier was actually out of stock, and we were fortunate enough to find another supplier, and we're pretty secure through the spring. And cans may become a problem. I think one of the pivots for us, is how do we get the cocktails out the door, the glass bottles,
Right.
get immediate solution, so to speak. But we knew long-term canned cocktails was a conversation. COVID brought it closer. We're in the midst of other moves. Like, we actually are completing our move from a smaller production to larger production. So there's things that need to get executed before we can can cocktails. So we know that's an option. And when we were looking at samples, it was hard to get the cans that we were looking for. Now it's, a larger problem. So, the bottles for now solve the problem, and canning is in the future and is a need to, I guess, well, not a need to survive. We can survive, but how do we grow in this new environment that we're in?
Right. Well, why don't we stick with that topic there that you're talking about? The word that is way overused and we've all heard it a million times, but pivoting. What have you been doing these last 7 months, and think you'll be doing as we move forward in the future to adapt and change your business? Hopefully for the better, but definitely pivoting. Why don't you continue, Alicia?
Well, I think the immediate pivot for us was sanitizer, just as a community need and execution. It definitely it was not a business opportunity We could not donate 100% being as young and small as we are, but we did do some donations. So that was an immediate pivot. Another immediate pivot was, how do we get cocktails out the door? That was a big part of our business. And looking back, I was actually surprised, and maybe not surprised, that in a week, I had cocktails kits out the door. But it's like COVID, I think, has forced us and everyone around us to be creative and be creative really fast.
Right.
We recently opened our online store. That was something that took time. I think, figuring out sanitizer, and it's not just producing it, but there was time spent in getting the bottles and the supplies, and then bottling it and going through the orders, in some case driving it to the other side of the state. We didn't get e-commerce going as quickly as I would have liked to, but it is finally going, and just in time, I think, for holidays and potential lockdown, and just trying to reach our customers, which is a whole nother. But e-commerce, cocktail kits, I think the future hopefully is canning, getting that going. And I think there are some things we could probably use some help from the state, but I think we have to look at business models, etc., to figure out how to continue to reach other people, or a greater amount of people.
Right. Jeremy, how about you? What changes have you had to implement, and how do you think it's going?
Yeah, I think, well, one, I really want to celebrate everyone that is trying to kind of work through this, and I've seen it very much in sort of the restaurant industry, but it's obviously happening in the brewing and distilling industry. The ability to continue to sort of look at new models and how can you get better and survive in this. For us, it's really been interesting. I always thought we were going to have a potentially demand issue, not a supply issue, as part of the overall company and the model, but it's absolutely been much more the supply. We've had, basically, with everything that's going on, our demand from breweries asking for us to work with them has been off the charts, which has been, I'm really thankful for that. But we've obviously had to consolidate and kind of work through that. Moving forward, we've realized that we can't, it used to be a 25% kegging, 75% canning mix when we were producing. And now if we can get any draft going, it's an absolute win. So we've really had to shift to this canning model. And then also the consumer preference has changed. So actually kind of completely messed with our model, not only from a draft perspective, but because everyone's trying to go into the distributor model, right? We really had to play with 12 packs, for an example. Variety packs have become really big, and then sort of the significant push towards hard seltzers, which is just more of a consumer preference right now. I never thought we'd be doing hard seltzers. I'm very traditional minded with my lagers and my IPAs, but that's something that very traditional breweries are now looking into. So we sort of had to sort of make those pivots as it relates to production. And we were able to kind of take this time and put more sort of money into packaging and kind of work on another cartoner that can be just focused on 12s and variety packs, for an example. So we're kind of going through those growing pains, and they've been significant, but I think we're going to, 2021, we're going to be better for it. From the retail, we've had to completely and utterly change the way we served. We went, all our bartenders were bartenders, right? They come to the bar and we'll take care of you. And they've had to go on from that to servers, to taking orders online and kind of working with our iPads, to working with plastic and making sure that everything's sanitized. We put an immense amount of pressure on the team to do a complete mind shift, and they've done an amazing job. And production's done an amazing job. I'm just really, really proud of the team right now.
That's great there. Fantastic. Morgan, you talked a little bit about some of the changes you've done. Anything else you want to add?
Yeah, I mean, as far as changes, it's actually, we've completely changed our entire business model. Originally, we had intended to be a tasting room, a welcoming, open environment. And if you come in here now, you'll see that it looks like a warehouse. We've spent the past about 3-4 months operating all of our seating outdoors, trying to maintain a safe environment for our employees so that we don't have risk of a possible infection spreading throughout the staff. And really, like, we were very draft driven, and just like everyone else, we've completely shifted to cans. Right now we're at about 95% of our production goes into cans, and the 5% that doesn't goes out in the distro, which is actually for us a very big leap, considering we were under 1% last year. So it's been a lot of shifts and changes and adapting and trying to figure out what makes sense. But it seems like right now the big thing for us is to maintain retail environment.
Right. So Alicia mentioned it a little bit. Obviously, the changes at the state level with some regulations helped, especially in the cases of for restaurants, but for cocktails, things of that nature. But overall, your thoughts and opinions on the government's response to this and how it's been treating your business and what it can do to improve its response to your businesses, and what do you think needs to change quicker rather than later. You want to start, Alicia and Carla?
I think any opportunity for small businesses to create, a sale, it needs to be, looked at. And, it was nice that they kind of, were able to just ignore the red tape and allow us to, make hand sanitizer, for example, and then do cocktails to go. So I think that, they've shown that they can do this. They can make the changes fast. And I think that they need to just listen to the small businesses. And if we have, needs or ideas, they need to kind of, have an open mind and be willing to make that change very fast instead of like taking years. It'd be nice if it took a couple weeks.
No, it's a very good point. The changes were quite successful quite quickly. So, hopefully they keep that in mind. Jeremy, how do you feel the response has been?
I think, I got to give the state, I think the state of Rhode Island has done a tremendous job in terms of providing information and trying for the health and well-being of its citizens. I think from a business perspective, I think it was a little bit of the Wild West just because they were trying to build models in the beginning. And, the PPP money was terrific. That was extremely helpful. Involving with the state and SBA, they were very willing to work with us in terms of making sure that that we had a good bridge coming, to get to the kind of the next side in terms of sort of the loans that we have as a business.
Morgan, how do you? What's your view on the government? I put the question that way.
Well, let's phrase the question a little bit differently.
Yes,
as far as their response to the pandemic, I'd say they've done a pretty solid job. I personally, as well as the board of the Guild, we work pretty closely with the governor's office to kind of get a line of communication to understand what's going on. When we started shutting down businesses, we were on the phone with someone in the governor's office trying to communicate, get some understanding. Are we going to be shut down? What's the impact of our businesses? And they were great with responding rather quickly and kind of helping us kind of soothe our nerves as things went. So as far as that goes, that was pretty phenomenal. And they introduced the Take It Outside grant recently, and the Guild also took part of that. And that's has a lot of potential to really help out some of us smaller breweries who might not have had the extra cash lying around to buy some tents and heaters and propane tanks and stuff. That money can be used to help maintain these businesses and keep them going through the colder months. So I think overall the government's been pretty good to us. There's some things that I wish that we could have seen changed. Personally, operating as a brewery, we do kind of have some limitations. It would have been nice to have some of those briefly lifted, but they weren't detrimental to the overall success of the breweries in the state. So, I can't complain too much.
Right. And I just want to clarify just a little bit. when you say the Guild, while Jeremy's company in Pawtucket is called the Guild, the larger umbrella, there's also a Rhode Island Brewers Guild, which is what Morgan's referring to, which is a conglomerate of all the breweries in the state. So, Jeremy, sorry we lost you there for a minute. Did you have anything else you wanted to finish with?
Sorry, I was obviously in between Wi-Fi's, so I went down to the beer hall. I get a little bit better now, so I apologize. My bad. No, I think I was just saying about how the first wave with the PPP and then the SBA, I think they really tried hard and they were working closely. And then I think we just got our footing a little bit and wasn't as worried about it. But what's been great about it, like the local organizations, if it was been the Restaurant Association or Go Providence or Pawtucket Foundation, they've really tried to be supportive as well. So we got heaters coming in for the wintertime and just trying to kind of work through that. And I know Rhode Island Commerce has been really trying hard to develop grant programs in order to kind of move that forward.
Right. Yeah. So while you're talking about heaters and taking outside and things of that nature, how has the customer response been for all of you throughout this? I mean, what sort of feedback, what sort of reactions, and what sort of support have you seen from the customers around the state coming? Alicia and Carly, you want to start us off?
I think customers overall have been great. For us, not having e-commerce early, all of our orders were literally by email, and just unbelievably understanding and supportive. Once we've transitioned outside, I think we actually only opened up inside 2 weeks ago. So that was the only option, and people have been great. We really haven't had any mask challenges. I know that I've heard some horror stories. We have not had that. So we are grateful to our customers for that as well. And now we have inside and outside options. And I think people appreciate having that. If you want to be outside, you can be outside. And absolutely the heaters. We did secure some heaters early before the Take It Outside initiative, just out of concern of, just trying to secure it early. But we did need more. And the Chamber of Commerce and Pawtucket Foundation have been very helpful. And I actually think it's really, it's nice to have more conversation. Like the relationships were there, but now we're all really having to work together as a community. And that's, I think, even more so. We had the Pawtucket Craft Ball last year, but now we're coming together out of need. And so that's wonderful. But I think the customer appreciates having the options. And we did bring back takeout. And so that's helping, and that's also getting ready for the holiday season. And who knows, lockdown, I hope not. So everybody behave. But
right.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Jeremy, customers, and you're in Pawtucket. You're not that far apart, but still.
No. It's part of the team here. I missed the Pawtucket Craft Crawl. I do.
Yeah.
That would have been fun. It was great first time. But no, I think when we opened and we went out to the beer garden and we didn't go 8 feet, we went 12 feet. And we really tried to have the right protocols. And one of the greatest lines a customer said to me since reopening was, thank you for letting me feel safe, but also part of the community again. Because I think people felt just really disconnected for a lot of months and just weren't comfortable yet to go out. And slowly but surely, they've done that. And I think that's one of our jobs as a community and a beer hall and a brewery is to allow people to come back and have a good time and reconnect, but feel safe about it, right? I think that's sort of a critical thing. I think the one thing that we are hitting a little bit right now is a little bit of this fatigue factor. I've definitely seen it, and I think it's really hard to keep on kind of pushing through and want people to really understand that we're doing this for your safety. Thankfully, we haven't had a lot of problems, but you can definitely see the fatigue is a little bit setting in.
Right. Yeah, that was a good point. Morgan, how about you?
When we started out, it was all to-go sales. So as soon as we opened up our outdoor space again, honestly, the outpouring and showing of love, it kind of felt like we opened up again. People were just super excited. it was like our grand opening all of a sudden, and people were just super excited to just be in our backyard, having a beer, hanging out, feeling a sense of normalcy. So it's been pretty good, and it feels really good to connect with people again. To reiterate what Jeremy said, is that the fatigue is there, and I mean, I'm not gonna lie, there are some days where I feel it too, and so it's nice to like connect to people even on just that small level of having a conversation and making that connection and just having a beer, even if it's 6 feet apart with a mask between us and a whole bottle of hand sanitizer between us. So it just felt really good, and people really generally appreciate it. So it feels good.
No, that's wonderful. That's good to hear. So last question is, what do you feel, how do you feel the future's looking? What do you see for the holidays and next year? Alicia and Carlo, what's going forward for White Dog?
Usually, November, December, they're pretty big months for us because, it's a lot of gifts. People not only want to come and do tastings, they want to buy bottles for presents and things like that. So, we're hoping that continues. And, like everyone else, we've really kind of bent over backwards to do our best to make people feel safe coming through our doors, or if they want to just do curbside, whatever it is, we're willing to do whatever it takes to help people feel comfortable coming here. But we're going to continue with cocktails to go, cocktail kits, bottles, and hopefully, people can still come in and have that social experience and do a tasting and have a cocktail and chat with the bartender. We love seeing the familiar faces. It's been, even if they have a mask on, it's great. We can still recognize them.
Nice. Jeremy?
Yeah, I think short term, we just finished up a 6-week program down in Providence called the Guild PBD Beer Garden, which was awesome. It was just great to have something right down at the new pedestrian bridge, and people loved it, and we were just thrilled to have it. And then with everything that we're doing this fall. But in all honesty, I see us as we getting close to December is that we're gonna just get when everyone has to be out inside, we're just gonna slow down a bit. We're gonna really spread out the tables here, stay open, but just have smaller crowds. So people feel great during the wintertime. I think my biggest thing is I feel like we have to get out of the wintertime, get out of the flu season, and then hopefully a vaccine comes. And then I'm extremely, extremely bullish for 2021 if we can do that. We got a lot of great things going on in 2021 and can't wait, but we just want to be slow and steady in the wintertime right now.
Right. Morgan?
So we're kind of preparing for the worst. We don't have any realistic expectations of when this is over. So we're trying to make sure that our environment is as safe as possible. With the winter coming, we've ordered some tents that are a little bit more isolated so groups can be a little bit more comfortable in their space, separated out from other people, get some heaters. But our big focus is still going to stay in on putting out more cans, focusing on our retail, and kind of keeping our eyes on what the production limitations are as this aluminum shortage, as a result of this pandemic, gets closer and closer. We do have kind of locked in with our suppliers, but there's always going to be some kind of issue in the future that we have to plan for. And so that's what we're doing. We're just trying to plan for the worst and hoping for the best.
Right. No, that's a sound business decision. What more can you do at this point? Well, I want to thank you all very much for joining us today. I really appreciate all of you taking your time to talk to us and tell us about your businesses. We'll be post this. We'll post all the social media handles and linking up to all your businesses, so everyone can get to you and purchase either online or come visit you. So again, thank you to Alicia and Carlo Catucci from White Dog Distilling, Jeremy Duffy from the Guild, and Morgan Snyder from Buttonwoods Brewery. We appreciate having you here today. Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you. Appreciate it.